Las Vegas has always been sold as the city that never sleeps, the crown jewel of American entertainment. But there's one question no one expected to ask in 2025. Why does the world-famous Las Vegas Strip, once packed with over 40 million visitors every year, now feel like it's hiding something? The neon lights still shine, the casinos still open their doors, and the shows keep running, but beneath the glow lies a silent collapse that few outsiders ever see. The truth isn't coming from glossy ads or press releases. It's coming from the workers themselves, the dealers, bartenders, housekeepers, and servers who keep the strip alive. They've started speaking out, confessing what's really happening behind closed doors, empty tables, tips vanishing overnight, and shifts cut in half. These aren't just stories of bad luck. They are first-hand warnings that something inside Vegas is breaking. In this video, you'll discover what the casino bosses don't want the public to know. The secrets that strip workers just exposed could change the way you see Vegas forever. On the surface, Las Vegas still shines brighter than almost any other city in America. The strip, stretching over 4 miles, is packed with towering hotels, billion-dollar casinos, and world-class entertainment venues. To a casual visitor arriving for the first time, it looks like the ultimate success story. Tourists take selfies in front of the Bellagio fountains, walk beneath the glowing signs of the Caesar's Palace, and line up to see shows featuring stars flown in from Los Angeles or even New York. The entire landscape appears larger than life, an endless party of flashing lights, music, and luxury. When you walk through the main entrances of the mega resorts, you're immediately hit with the scent of expensive perfume pumped into the air, designed to make you forget the outside world. You see rows of slot machines chiming, dealers flipping cards on polished blackjack tables, and waitresses carrying trays of cocktails. To an outsider, nothing seems wrong. Vegas has mastered the art of illusion, convincing millions that it's thriving every single night. The numbers tell a story of strength, or at least they appear to. In glossy brochures, you'll read about tens of millions of visitors every year, billions in gaming revenue, and a constant flow of conventions, weddings, and high-roller weekends. Marketing campaigns show packed arenas, smiling tourists, and endless crowds. From a distance, Vegas feels like the city that always wins. But beneath the surface of that glamour, cracks begin to show. Workers quietly admit that many of those slot machines sit untouched for hours. Entire hotel floors have lights turned off because they're not fully booked. Some restaurants, once requiring reservations weeks in advance, now close early, unable to justify staying open late. Guests may not notice if they only come for a night or two, but those who live and work here see the reality daily. Even the traffic patterns are different. Long ago, it was impossible to move along the strip without facing bumper-to-bumper cars at all hours. Now, late on certain weeknights, you can drive stretches of it without hitting heavy congestion. Taxi and rideshare drivers whisper about the difference they use to pick up back-to-back rides, sometimes making $300 to $400 a night. Today, many sit waiting an hour for a single trip. Still, the facade holds strong. Casinos keep pouring money into new signs, light shows, and stage spectacles to distract from the emptiness. The goal is simple: keep the illusion alive so the tourists don't start asking questions. For every hotel lobby that looks full, there might be 2 floors upstairs with darkened hallways. For every crowded roulette table, there are entire sections of the gaming floor standing quiet, staffed by dealers who shuffle cards for no one. The workers are the ones who notice this the most. They see that the weekends can still draw crowds, but the weekdays are a shadow of what they used to be. They compare their paychecks from 2010 or even 2019 to now, and the difference is staggering. Vegas is still dazzling on the outside, but the insiders know that the city is holding its breath, trying to mask a decline that's already well underway. And that's the contradiction. At the heart of Las Vegas, it still markets itself as a never-ending playground. But to the people who live and work here, it's starting to feel like a giant stage set, glitter on the outside, hollow within. The real story of Las Vegas isn't told in glossy ads or flashy commercials. It's told in the whispered conversations of the workers who keep the strip alive. These are the dealers, bartenders, servers, housekeepers, and security guards who see what tourists never notice. And lately, their confessions reveal a truth far darker than the neon lights suggest. Take the dealers, for example. In the 2000s, it was common for a blackjack or poker dealer to pull in $300 to $400 in tips on an average night. On weekends, that number could skyrocket to $600 or even $800. Today, many say they're lucky to leave with $100 even on a Saturday. One dealer put it bluntly, there just aren't enough players. The tables sit empty, and when they're full, people don't spend like they used to. Bartenders share the same story. A veteran bartender at a well-known strip resort said that back in 2015, she regularly earned $500 in tips during a busy shift. Now I'm making less than $150 on nights that used to be my gold mine. She admitted that management pushes staff to smile bigger and upsell harder, but it doesn't matter when the customers simply aren't there. Then there are the servers in high-end restaurants. Once these places required reservations weeks in advance. Now waiters admit that on some nights, entire dining rooms are only half full. One server confessed that his income has dropped by 40% since 2019, even though the restaurant still charges premium prices. The tips have dried up because the volume of big spending diners has collapsed. Housekeepers have their own perspective. Some reveal that entire floors of hotel rooms are blocked off, not because they're under renovation, but because the hotels don't have the guests to fill them. A housekeeper with over 20 years on the Strip explained, "They tell the public occupancy is high, but we know better. We're cleaning fewer rooms than ever." The illusion of full capacity hides a hollow reality. Even the taxi and rideshare drivers notice. In the past, during events like the Super Bowl or New Year's Eve, they could barely keep up with the surge in demand. Now drivers often sit idle, waiting more than an hour for a single ride. One Uber driver admitted he's thinking about leaving the city altogether, saying it's not worth the gas anymore. "I can't survive off this. The situation has become so bleak that shifts are being cut across the board. Workers who once relied on 40 hours a week now get 20 or 25, forcing them to scramble for second jobs or take on debt. Overtime, once common in Vegas, has practically disappeared. For many, it means a brutal choice: either cut expenses to the bone or leave Nevada altogether." One of the most telling confessions comes from a longtime cocktail waitress who's been serving on the Strip since 2003. She said, "The Vegas I knew is gone. The energy, the money, the crowds, it's all different. People come, but they don't spend. They sit at a machine with $20 for hours waiting for free drinks. That's not how this city was built." There's also a psychological toll. Workers admit they're under pressure to pretend nothing is wrong. Management tells them to keep the facade alive, to act as though everything is booming, even when they're staring at empty tables and quiet lobbies. One security guard revealed, "We're told not to talk about it, not even with each other. But everyone knows what's happening." And while tourists may still walk away with memories of bright lights and a good time, the people serving them know the truth. Las Vegas Strip is not the unstoppable machine it once was. The cracks are visible everywhere if you know where to look, and the people who work here see them every single day. These confessions from the inside paint a chilling picture. They're not just anecdotes of bad nights or slow seasons. They're warnings from those who know the Strip best. Vegas may still glitter on the outside, but to its own workers, it feels like the city is hollowing out from within. If the Strip workers are seeing fewer tips, fewer guests, and fewer shifts, why isn't this headline news? Why don't you see the collapse of Las Vegas splashed across major outlets every night? The answer is simple. The people who control the narrative, the casino bosses, the developers, and the Wall Street investors have too much at stake to let the truth out. Billions of dollars are locked into projects along the Las Vegas Strip. From mega resorts like the $4.3 billion Resorts World, which opened in 2021, to massive entertainment arenas backed by corporate sponsors, the financial machine behind Vegas is enormous. If word got out that the city was truly hollowing out, stock prices could crash, investors might pull funding, and an entire chain of billion-dollar loans could unravel overnight. For the people at the top, silence is survival. So instead, they hide the cracks. Workers talk about flashy promotions that seem too good to be true, rooms slashed to $29 dinner night buffets, practically given away, or last-minute show tickets sold at a fraction of their listed price. On paper, these are called special deals. In reality, they're lifelines to keep appearances alive. A full room at $29 looks better than an empty one, even if it means massive losses in the long run. Some shows have been quietly canceled, entire restaurants have shut their doors, and new development projects once touted as the future of Vegas have stalled before they even broke ground. But the press releases still paint a picture of booming growth. The story told to investors is one of momentum, while the story whispered by workers is one of collapse. The debt situation is perhaps the most dangerous secret of all. According to financial insiders, several major casinos are carrying obligations in the billions. Some of this debt was refinanced during the pandemic years 2020, 2021, when interest rates were historically low. But now, with rates climbing in 2024 and 2025, those debts are becoming far more expensive to maintain. A hidden time bomb is ticking beneath the Strip. Even local officials seem complicit. The Las Vegas economy is so heavily tied to the image of nonstop prosperity that acknowledging the decline could trigger panic. City leaders continue to push narratives about recovery expansion and tourism booms. They promote new projects like futuristic spheres and entertainment complexes, even while older properties sit half-empty. The illusion of endless growth is as vital as oxygen. But the workers on the ground see how that illusion is maintained. A bartender confessed that managers are ordered to keep certain sections of the bar closed, making the space look more crowded than it really is. A dealer explained how pit bosses encourage staff to stand in visible positions, even when there are no players, just to give the appearance of action. Housekeepers admitted that entire blocks of hotel rooms are locked up, never offered to guests, but reported as occupied to make occupancy rates look strong. The manipulation doesn't stop there. Some casinos run reports that blend convention traffic with tourism traffic, masking the steep drop in actual leisure visitors. Others lean heavily on international guests, even though Chinese tourism, once a billion-dollar driver, has dropped sharply in recent years due to political and economic tensions. Workers know the difference, and they say the numbers being sold to the public are more fiction than fact. Why cover all this up? Because Las Vegas isn't just a city, it's a brand. It sells the dream of hitting it big, of living larger than life, of stepping into a world where money flows like water. If that brand collapses, the consequences ripple far beyond Nevada. Wall Street funds, global investors, real estate empires, and even political careers are tied to the fate of the Strip. This is the hidden truth that casino executives and city leaders don't want outsiders to know. The neon glow is carefully staged, the numbers are massaged, and the cracks are patched with discounts and promotions. To the world, Vegas is still the land of opportunity. To the workers who see the empty floors, the vanishing tips, and the hollow promises, it's a city on the edge of financial disaster. And as more workers begin to speak out, the truth is becoming harder and harder to bury. The collapse isn't coming. It's already here. The only question left is how long the people in charge can keep the lights shining before the illusion finally fades. When the neon lights flicker and the profits shrink, it's not the casino bosses or the Wall Street investors who suffer first. It's the people who keep the Las Vegas Strip alive, the workers, their families, and the local community that depends on this fragile economy. Behind the shimmering facade of billion-dollar resorts, the human cost is quietly piling up. Consider the life of a dealer who once relied on 40-hour weeks with plenty of overtime. Before the downturn, she could count on steady paychecks, generous tips, and enough savings to support her family. But now, her hours have been cut to 20 or 25 a week, overtime has vanished, and tips are barely enough to cover gas. She admitted she's falling behind on her rent, forced to choose between paying utilities or buying groceries. For someone who dedicated over 15 years to the industry, this feels like betrayal. She's not alone. A bartender at a mid-tier casino confessed that he's considering leaving Vegas entirely. Once earning $60,000 a year, his income has collapsed to less than $35,000. I can't survive here anymore, he said. The city takes and takes, but it doesn't give back when we need it. He's already planning a move to Arizona, where the cost of living is lower and jobs outside of tourism are easier to find. The ripple effects extend far beyond the Strip. Local landlords continue to raise rents even as incomes collapse. In 2024, the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Las Vegas topped $1,400 a month. For workers who now bring home half their previous pay, that's unsustainable. Some move into smaller apartments, others take on roommates, and too many are slipping into debt. Credit card balances are soaring, and payday loan companies, already notorious in Nevada, are thriving as desperate workers borrow just to make ends meet. Crime is also creeping into the picture. Police reports show a rise in petty theft car break-ins and fraud cases in neighborhoods surrounding the Strip. Locals blame the economic downturn. When people can't pay their bills, they get desperate, one resident said. Vegas is built on money. When that dries up, people do whatever they can to survive. Even the school system is feeling the weight. Teachers report that more children are showing up, hungry, distracted, and struggling. Some families who once relied on stable Strip jobs are now moving frequently, chasing cheaper housing or leaving the state altogether. Students bounce between schools, making it harder for them to succeed. The collapse of tourism isn't just hurting workers, it's reshaping the social fabric of the entire community. Healthcare is another hidden casualty. Many Strip workers depend on employer-provided insurance. With hours cut, some have lost their coverage entirely. Others can't afford rising premiums. A housekeeper explained that she skipped a doctor's appointment because she couldn't cover the $200 copay. I just pray I don't get sick, she said. One hospital bill could ruin me. The irony is brutal. While Vegas casinos still promote luxury fine dining and million-dollar jackpots, the very people serving cocktails in cleaning rooms are sliding toward poverty. The wealth gap between the polished resorts and the workers behind them has never felt so wide. One longtime security guard said it plainly, Vegas looks rich, but its people are poor. And for those who can't hang on, there's only one option: leave. Workers are quietly fleeing Nevada, heading to states like Texas, Arizona, and Colorado, where opportunities in logistics, healthcare, or manufacturing seem more stable. Locals call it the silent exodus, a steady outflow of talent, experience, and community ties. Each departure weakens the city further, draining it of the very workforce that kept it alive for decades. The saddest part is how many workers feel abandoned. They say city leaders are too focused on attracting investors and mega events like the Super Bowl or Formula One races to care about the struggles of everyday residents. One server asked bitterly, they'll spend billions to build a new stadium, but they won't spend anything to help us survive. Who do they really work for? In the end, the people paying the price for the hidden collapse aren't the billionaires or the executives. They'll find ways to protect themselves. The real cost is being shouldered by the workers who live paycheck to paycheck, the families slipping into debt, the children growing up in unstable homes, and the neighborhoods grappling with crime and poverty. This is the human side of the Vegas collapse, a city that still shines for outsiders, but is quietly draining the lifeblood of the people who built it. The story of Las Vegas is more than a tale of empty hotel rooms and shrinking tips. It's a warning about what comes next. If the cracks already showing on the Strip keep widening, the consequences will ripple far beyond Nevada. What the workers are exposing today could be the early signs of a full-blown collapse that reshapes not just Vegas, but the entire image of American entertainment and tourism. The most immediate danger is financial. The city has been here before. Just look at Atlantic City. In the 1980s, that seaside casino hub was hailed as the East Coast Vegas. But by the 1990s, as competition grew and debts piled up, the illusion collapsed. Entire casinos went bankrupt, thousands of workers lost their jobs, and the once glittering boardwalk turned into a shadow of itself. Many fear Las Vegas could be on the same path. The Strip may look invincible, but the workers' testimonies suggest it's already teetering on the edge. If Vegas falls, the economic shock will be staggering. The city's tourism industry generates over $60 billion annually, supporting hundreds of thousands of jobs. A sharp downturn would devastate local businesses, from taxi companies and food suppliers to contractors and entertainers. Unemployment could spike, foreclosures could rise, and the city's housing market, already fragile, could collapse under the weight of unpaid mortgages and abandoned properties. The national impact would be just as severe. Wall Street has poured billions into Vegas developments, from mega resorts to luxury condo towers. If the Strip's revenue collapses, those debts could become toxic assets, triggering ripples through financial markets. Some analysts warn that a Las Vegas downturn could mirror the housing crash of 2008, where a local crisis spiraled into a national one. Beyond economics, there's the cultural fallout. Las Vegas isn't just a city, it's a symbol of the American dream of risk and reward, of fortune found overnight. If tourists stop coming, if workers keep leaving, if the lights start to dim, that symbol crumbles. The collapse of Vegas would be a blow to America's identity as much as its economy. Already the signs are visible. Workers talk about empty weekdays and quiet weekends that used to roar with energy. Entire restaurants and shows are disappearing from the Strip. Visitors whisper that Vegas feels different, less alive, less magical, more desperate. And once the perception shifts, it's hard to bring it back. People who sense decline rarely return. The casino bosses know this, which is why they fight so hard to maintain the illusion. They slash prices, pump out flashy ads, and push staged photos of crowded tables. But as the workers' confessions show, these are band-aids on a much deeper wound. Eventually, reality breaks through. When it does, the collapse could be sudden and brutal. The question then becomes, who will step in? Will the state of Nevada bail out its golden goose? Will federal dollars flow in, as they did during the pandemic, to keep the Strip alive? Or will the city be left to fend for itself, forced to reinvent its identity in a world that may no longer need it? Some insiders believe Vegas will try to pivot, doubling down on sports arenas, concerts, and mega events to fill the gap left by gamblers. But even that strategy carries risks. Hosting events like Formula One or the Super Bowl costs billions, often funded by taxpayer money. If the returns don't match the investment, locals could be left with empty stadiums and even deeper debt. For the workers, though, the consequences are already here. Their paychecks have shrunk, their hours are cut, and their future in Vegas feels uncertain. Many are leaving, part of a silent migration that weakens the city further. If the exodus continues, who will be left to keep the lights on, to clean the rooms, to serve the drinks? The harsh truth is this: the collapse of Las Vegas may not be a single dramatic moment. It may be a slow bleed, revealed first by the voices of workers, then by the empty rooms, and finally by the darkened casinos themselves. By the time the world admits the Strip is broken, it might already be too late to save it. The truth about Las Vegas isn't told by billboards or neon lights. It's told by the people who live and work in the city every day. The dealers, the bartenders, the housekeepers, the servers. They're the ones who see the empty tables, the half-closed hotel floors, the shrinking paychecks. Their voices cut through the illusion and reveal what the casino bosses and investors don't want the world to know. The city that once defined American excess is quietly collapsing from within. For decades, the Strip stood as a symbol of wealth, luck, and opportunity. But as the workers confess, the reality in 2025 is far different. Tips have dried up, shifts have been cut, and families are being forced out of their homes. The ones paying the highest price aren't the billionaires on Wall Street. They're the ordinary people who built this city, who gave their lives to the promise of Vegas, and who now face the consequences of its decline. So what happens next? Will Las Vegas find a way to reinvent itself, or will it follow the same path as Atlantic City, fading from glory into ruin? The cracks are already showing, and the workers' voices are the first alarm bells. If the city ignores them, the collapse may come faster than anyone expects. Because here's the question every American should ask. If even Las Vegas, the city of dreams, the ultimate escape, can fall apart, what does that say about the rest of the country? Stay tuned, because this story isn't over, and the next chapter could be even darker.